he gives responsibilities for players that should be covering those areas. Okay, so we're going to be kind of talking about how we can kind of talk about that in our area specifically. Okay. So with the Guardiola mindset, each area is requiring to have different type of players and not too many players from his team, so that will not allow the opposite side to be so open. Does that make sense? So if you're the blue team and you're all going to this gap right here to defend one guy, obviously there's going to be a lot of openings in these areas, right? So that's not going to happen when you're playing against an organized team, correct? So when Guardiola is talking about this, he's trying to minimize the area of coverage. So I'm going to show you guys something. We play a 3-4-3, right? This is a D mid, this is a D mid, this is a right center back, center back, and left center back, because we play with that. And outside midfields are here. Okay. Outside mids and also wing backs. We have two center mids, and actually the forward, outside forward, and center forward. So what if the ball is attacking from here in this gap with their left midfield or left forward? I'm not going to put any more blue players there until we understand the covering area. So obviously our right back, right winger, right midfielder going to be covering. Look where they're coming from. Not here, more towards the center to give them only outside, not giving them anything in the center. So this is when things that we don't really do. We don't do a good pressure coverage. So with the Guardiola mindset, this guy is going to cover here, okay, or here, and defender is going to step to here. You see now we are three players in this area right here. The other two is going to be sliding. This guy is sliding all the way to the edge of that area that he's in. So there's three players covering this area, three players covering the center area. So we are set. We're only giving an option to open, if we do even, is all the way to the other side. The only thing they can do is that. Hopefully, we're not going to let them open it. That's the only thing they got. So idea with this, with our system, I would really like this small area only to be covered by the forward to follow this player. And once the player comes into this gap, unless the outside mid is nowhere to be found, this three is going to be doing the work for you guys. So if it doesn't move and beats the guy, you're going to steal it from here. If it doesn't move and beats the guy, this player is going to be here to cover. So we're not going to give any options. So let's see what happens when that player has more options. Two forwards, outside player, and two center mids. They're attacking like this. So when you do this lines right here, you cut pretty much any open possible pass. And if this guy is aware that there's a player that might be checking into this gap right here, you can cover that as well. Or you can even go to the opposite side. But the idea is trying to fill these gaps. So with Guardiola, again, Manchester City coach, also was the founder and creator of the Barcelona, the way they play, the way they pass. So this is his rules, right? And we're just adjusting it to our system to a point. So do you understand that the outside mid presses this player, center midfield comes here to cover the left side of him, and this guy covers kind of the right side, the opening space right here. He can't go all the way here because he doesn't want to leave that kind of gap, but he can be creating a triangle in here. So they open the game, they pass the ball to, let's just say we push these guys up a little bit too, realistically, how they will be. So let's just say this player drops the ball to this player, and that player made a long ball to this guy, and he receives the ball. So what do we do now? Outside mid steps, right? This guy is covering here, and the center mid goes here. The other center mid comes here. This guy slides here. This guy comes back to here. This guy comes back to the edge of his line. Okay, do you see that now? So the defensive shape, so the outside back is a part of that movement. Okay, outside, I mean the center mid is sliding. So if you're this left center mid, you're going to be working with the left mid and the left back. If you're the right side center mid, you're going to be working with the right mid and the right back. So the triangles you guys are going to be creating is those players. That makes sense. So the question might come. I'm going to be taking some questions soon. So what do we do if you're attacking? So my right mid has the ball, or the right mid is attacking. So how do we create these in these matter? So look. So let's do one player here. So obviously, this player is going to be stepping to this player right here, right? So one of the center mids need to be supporting here. You see that a little wider maybe. And outside mid is going to be in this triangle right here. And the center forward, if there is a gap here, center forward can check into the gap to open the game to the opposite side. We would like to keep the center forward as much as we can as the last guy, so we can keep these players involved and not stepping so high and freely moving, right? So you see that they can do 1-1, and then of course these center mids are pushing up at this point. Center backs are pushing up at this point. So when we get the ball to this guy, he can open the game to the other guy, and this guy's making a run outside of him, and we release the ball, right? So we need to make sure that we keep supporting attack. So when this is happening, the opposite side center mid needs to be coming into this area where the other center mid comes back to the center to cover deep, but he can attack at this point. You see that movement. So every area, we're going to try to fill in with 3 players minimum. So I hope that you can see this is, of course, it's really hard to draw things in the computer because you're using your mouse, but I hope you can kind of understand where these stand. Okay, so we're going to try to fill all those areas with 3 players, no more than that, so we have more opens and options on other sides. All right, I'll take some questions or comments. Does that make sense to you guys? Does that make it easier for you to understand? Please comment about it.
So coach, I have a question.
Yeah.
So let's say when the blue team was defending and the red team had the ball on the right side, we were defending with the 3 center backs for sure, and then the 4 midfielders were also defending too. So we were basically defending with 7 players. My question is, what happens if the 2 center mids from the red team push up? What does the 2 outside forwards do? Do they push up? Do they drop back and defend the center, or what happens in that case?
Good question. So you're saying if they went too far, they shouldn't, right? If they do go too far because they see an opening, let's just say that, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, yeah.
Because originally, what do we say? One center mid attacks, the other one has to stay back. So why is your situation happening? Is the question.
So
and why did that happen?
So let's say the red team, the person who has the ball on the screen right now, is attacking.
Yeah.
And our defensive shape is the closest defender is defending, the one covering, and then the outside mid is coming to cover again. Can you show us the shape of the team again if the red team is attacking and the blue team is defending from this side, where the side of the ball is?
So if you're attacking from here, the back is going to be stepping, they're going to be sliding. I'm going to make their shape first. What their 4-4-2 will do, right? They will be standing, if they are a good team, they'll be coming back to these positions. This guy's probably going to be recovering from there. So in this case, we want to make sure like we fill up with 3 players, right? Outside forward here, because outside mid is here. What if it's different? What is this is the outside forward? Then this guy is the right mid, is the drop, and the center mid slides to here. We just need to make sure we create this triangle in this area. The other one is going to be deeper, but following this guy in this area. We can step a little bit higher in the same side from the left back. Other 2 needs to be sliding in this gap. And the right forward needs to be coming in, even if he wants inside, so he can open the space, because when they go inside, they're going to be opening space in the back post. That's going to open up space for the back post guy, the right mid right here. So another thing you can do, if you are not expecting anything happening like that right now, like as a cross, you need to be coming back to center area right here. When this guy is in the gap, center area right here, kind of sliding. So because if they are going to try to open the game, you can defend that. But if this guy is looking like he's going to have a cross, you need to start going wide. Of course, he's going to have a cross. You can start sliding this way. You can also start sliding this way. Depends on where the player is going, right? If he's trying to pass the ball this way, though, we really need to be covering just in case we lose the ball. We need to be covering right here. That makes sense?
Yes, but I also have another question. Can you show us the team shape in the defensive position? So let's say we are red, we're defending the same side from the attack, and the blue is attacking.
Okay. Let's put it here. Right?
Yes, perfect.
So this is left. We just kind of did that in a second ago, but were you here for that?
Yes, I was here. My question, my first question was when we were defending, not when we were attacking. But I didn't want to interrupt you.
Okay, when we're defending right now.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the same thing I did. So we're defending the left back. Okay, let's go with from the where they start. So that makes it easy to see. Centimeters, right? Outside forward. Outside forward. So when, let's just say long ball came, outside mid cannot run straight into the player, so then they're going to be running, beating the player. So you need to go deeper, defend this. Okay. Oh, this is center forward. The center mid slides into this gap. The center back slides into this gap. This guy slides a little bit. This guy slides a little bit. This guy slides a little bit. This guy slides a little bit outside mid. Around here. So we can have a counter attack. This will be the shape. So again, every time you're defending a ball from the wide, you want a left back, center back, a center mid, my bad, center mid, and the left center back to join the attack. Ball moves all the way to the side. Right mid, steps, center mid, left, right back, center, other center back all the way to center, and this guy slides to here. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense. But now the question is the 2 outside forwards, where should their positioning be? Are they defending with us, or should they come to the center?
Preferably, if the only time we want them to kind of help if they see that we are outnumbered here, and or there's a guy coming from a drop right here, and he drops the ball to him, and he's in that area, and he can follow it. But we don't want him here. We want him to be standing out there in the outlet, unless we need to have him. We have to have him. But if this guy is dribbling from here, he defends it. He might even defend it all the way to here. But if the ball goes to this area and we have this triangle set, stay away. Does that make sense? Because the moment that we steal the ball, we need to have an outlet on the outsides right away. If the ball is here though, okay, let's just push it. I wish that I had like the technology to just push it everybody at the same time. But, so what if we got the ball and this guy stole the ball and passed the ball to this player? At this point, the player, because we're so far from the ball, the outside, the center forward can make it run to outside. This player is going to be making a run in. So they're going to be compact. They're going to be coming this way. You see where we're going in the outside? That's going to open up the left mid's way. Center mids are coming in now, joining the attack. We have to step up as quick as we can at this point. This guy who passed the ball needs to be jumping into attack too and support him as well. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes. Thank you, coach.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a problem with some of our players. Like, they don't necessarily see this. Like, it is okay, Rafa, if you're this far from the goal, pass comes to open space, it's okay to make a diagonal run to open space here, but somebody needs to take your position. Even if it's a center mid, they can jump into that spot. And you know what I mean? And be that person. Like, even if it's a defensive mid, he can go there, cover him. You guys can switch positions. Like, does that make sense?
Yes, coach.
Do you have any question about that? So the why I said that, guys, with the pro guys, we've been working on this for a while. So if our players are this close to goal, and outside forward gets the ball, and outside the center mid is here, let's just say one of them is go forward. And this is the outside, let's just say, player now. No. So this is the outside mid, this is the outside forward, I guess, in this case now. So the thing is happening is our center forwards are making runs to open space here, which is great. But then when we get a cross out, let's just say this guy is supposed to support him, right? We release the ball to this player and we're going to have a cross. And we have our center forward, which has been working every practice to finish these in the blind spot right here. A cross comes and he needs to be finishing it, right? Or she. So we really would like to keep this player in the center as long as we can. Sometimes we can make that run. But we want to make sure we keep him in the center and the last guy as much as we can. One of the reasons you do that is to keep the center backs involved so they don't attack. One of them can attack, but if you're standing in there, they're not going to be stepping easily and freely anymore. Does that make sense? Let me go back to this. For some of you guys who hasn't seen it, I'm going to share this again. Please write it down, these numbers and where they stand. It's critical for you. Okay. Draw this, take a picture of it, put it in your room somewhere, because this language, when you guys are going to play professional somewhere, some of you college, some of you high school, good coaches are going to be using numbers for positions. I want you to play a 4. I want you to play a 5. I want to play with 3 5s. So all of you center backs, all of you skilled center backs. I want to play with 2 number 6s, little deeper defensive mid. And then when a college coach comes to you and says, I want you to play a number 6, do you know what you're going to be able to play? Because if everybody else knows and you don't, you're one step behind. You understand? So it's critical that you learn this before going. All right, let's go back to our, okay, hold on.
Hey, Daji, you have a question in the chat.
Okay, hold on for a second. Hold on just for a second. I'm trying to find. How do we get that? All right. What do you guys can see now? Can you just respond, please? Somebody, one of you. Kate, can you please, someone you?
Yeah, we can see.
What
We
can
can
you
see it.
see?
A motivational soccer
We
teacher
see-
video.
No, that's not what I'm trying to show. Coming back to this. All right. Can one of the coaches be like on the mic, please? Okay. Go ahead, the question.
It says in defense, when the keeper has the ball, the left and right backs go wide to get open. What does the center back do? Does he stay back in case they lose the ball, or does he move to top of the box or somewhere similar to get open?
So who
That
asked that
came-
question?
I think it's from Nathan and David.
That's a good question. So let's clear this. Now we know our angles. Take a picture of this too. All right, we're gonna clear this. And our keeper has the ball, right? Is that what the question? And we just saved an attack, right? So
Yep.
once our keeper, watch this. This is critical that you guys understand this. So keeper gets the ball, outside mid goes wide. Outside back goes wide. The player checks in, center mid checks in. Okay, and depends on where the ball is gonna go. This guy is gonna go wide just to give an option too. But we need to make sure one of the center mids slides into deep. This guy could also go as deep as he can to receive the ball short as well. Depends on what these guys. If this guy is here, just stay right here. If this guy is around there, go back beside the goalie to receive the ball from the keeper to start the. So this is critical that you guys understand this. Everything is there to happen right now. Once we get the ball to goalie's feet, outside mid. Outside mid. Okay. Outside forward. Outside forward. Center forward. Okay. That's our shape. Now our keeper gets the ball so we can open the game from there. Okay. If he passes the ball here, what do? We need to make sure the outside mid is kind of moving in. Everybody is moving back to the area that they're supposed to. Center mid can go back to his spot slowly. This guy slides, and this guy slides in. And we can still have openings on that area. If the ball goes to this player, he's going, opening the game to this area. Center mid is going, this guy is supporting, and we're good. Does that make sense?
Yes, coach.
Any other question? Rafa, do you have anything else from the center mid perspective?
Nope. Thank you, coach.
Okay. What about forward?
For the forward, I mean,
Yeah.
I always get confused, or like I need to have a better sense of decision making, when to go wide and when to make a run wide and when to stay central. But that's my only confusion, because sometimes at practice I'll see the space behind the defender and I'll make a run, or make a run behind them diagonally to receive the ball wide, and then you tell us, hey, you should have stayed central because there's no one to cross. But
Yeah.
I guess there should be better communication between me and other team players. When the striker do that, maybe other player has to come in and take his spot.
So ideally, Rafa, if you're making this run this close, we would like you just not being this close making a run. But again, if you're all the way here, and we are attacking from here, okay? That diagonal run is okay. When you're far from the goal, does that make sense?
Yes, coach.
When we're this close to the goal, we want to make sure if we get a cross out, our center forward, which we want to score goals, headers, to be able to touch that ball and respond to that cross. Right? So the thing is, though, Rafa, ideally, if your team has quick, smart players, if you are willing to make the run and you say, somebody cover me, so when this player is making a run wide, okay, the center mid sees that, they can go. And you can freely make this run. But the problem is our players are not responding quick enough. So when you get the ball here, players running at you, you have a cross, but nobody in there in the danger zone. Danger zone, this is the area most goals are going to be happening when the cross is coming from there. Does that make sense? That will be the away from keeper. Keeper is going to be on the line, of course, when the cross is going to come. I would say the best part, I'll go with yellow, is any cross that comes in this area right here, away from the keeper, away from the defensive line. This area right here is money. Going to be scoring goals. A lot of our crosses in the game, unfortunately, or practices, has been coming this area. Even if the defense is deep and there's a player there, when the defense can face out and defend across from there, it's much easier to defend for everyone. So when they're coming back, the hardest way to defend is catching him off guard between the goalie and center backs. It's critical we get more crosses in there. We've been working on that, and honestly, we've been getting better and better at it. And when we have a player like Dylan in the semi-pro team who can score every header almost, and Momodou is getting much better with that, it's critical. And last week, I think Rafa scored a beautiful header in that gap. I mean, this is doable. This is easy. Any questions, guys? About the areas we covered. We didn't draw a line again here, but it's about here to here. The middle lane is here to there. And this one is here, right? Somewhere around here, right? Probably here. So those areas, like we talked about at the beginning of the training, a lot of you guys came late. Unfortunately, we started 7, but we draw those where the players are supposed to stand. Is there any questions about that? I'm going to start calling names, I guess. And I saw that, is it Raish? You raise your hand if you have a question. Write it down in the chat if you want. The coaches will read it. I'm going to call out. Dylan, do you have a question or do you understand? Does everything make sense?
Well, I have one question, and it's just that when there's as a defender, so when there's a cross coming in, and there's a forward in the blind spot area, and I'm the far side defender. Is the goal to put the forward off or to actually win the ball?
Okay, that's an interesting question. So I thought you were gonna say if this player is here and this guy is here and there's a guy in the gap right here and you're the furthest defender. Right?
Yeah.
I would go all the way to cover this guy. And even though there's a player, hopefully our outside mid is gonna be able to read this.
Okay.
And come back to that area. Okay, so like let's just say outside mid sees that this guy needs to cover. So don't worry about this guy right now. When you see this guy wide open in the blind spot, cover him. So the second question came as in, Am I gonna go for the ball or the player?
It's more like because I'm already behind the player, like would I try to just like give them a little shove to put them off, or would I try to go in front of them to win the ball?
In front of him.
Okay.
Shove, go, referee sees it, it's a foul, you get a penalty. We don't need to do that.
Okay, okay.
When you jump, see, however, when you jump for a header, you can body check the player to mess up their header. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, that makes
You know,
sense.
sometimes like, especially when short defenders in soccer, like, guys, tell me the name of that left back for Barcelona. Is that Alba? Somebody say it.
Jordi Alba.
Alba, yeah, Jordi Alba. So Alba is a short defender. So most of the time, if he's dealing with a big forward, he's not going to be able to catch that guy. So he just jumps, going for a header, but gives a body check. So that messes up the balance of the forward as well. That's the one time that you can't do that without getting as much trouble. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So cover the goal side and try to win that ball in front of him. If this players should not be sliding that far, right?
Yeah.
They should be around here, and hopefully we can win that. But if you see that that ball is going over this player, you can start stepping this way as well.
Okay.
And this
Yeah.
guy needs to step in. So you just need to play like read what the defender is. I mean, the ball is going and where the forward is. But the easiest way to score goals, guys, is in this gap, in the blind spot of the player.
Yeah, it's because so like sometimes during practice when I'm playing like the older guys and they're all pretty much bigger than me. So like when I jump against them to try to win the header, they normally just beat me for the header. So I was just wondering like what were some like workarounds to solve this
So
problem?
you need to make sure your side of your body, when you jump, side of your body is leaning towards them.
Okay.
So that way, you're giving your whole body pressure towards the player. Even they're stronger and bigger than you, they're going to be shaking a little bit. They're not going to have a full balance.
Yeah.
So cool thing about this, if they wanted to go so hard to you when you do that jump, and if they go so hard, they're going to make you fly, and it's a foul. You just gain a foul for us.
Yeah.
If you don't jump at all, you just win the header. Either score a goal or pass the assist to somebody else.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's critical that each defender jumps for every header.
Okay. That makes sense.
You have anything else?
Dodgy, it looks like we have a couple more questions in the chat.
Go ahead.
First one was, when would be a good time for the center mid to play a ball to the center forward's feet instead of switching the play when receiving the ball from either the right or left side?
Great question. I'm going to answer it without showing it first, and then I'll show it too. And this is a center mid, right? I want to make sure I'm right.
Yep.
Talking about a center mid. Okay. All right. I'm going to put everybody in the position. I'm going to give you an easy answer first, so just listen to that. Easy answer is this. If the other team is too compact, we're going to go wide. But once we go wide, if they're still kind of compact, once we get the ball back and we know that they're not giving us anything, it's good to use the center forward if they're too compact to mess up the balance of their defensive shape. You're the center mid and you have the ball right here, let's just say. Like this far from the ball, like let's just say they're marking this guy and you see a through ball open and like wide open through ball and they're marking closely this guy, you can put that ball in that gap. So when this happens, coach, they're going to be coming in more compact. They have to go towards the ball. When this forward receives the ball and turns, either of the way, it's going to have a lot more options to open up. But again, if you see this situation, they are having a pressure cover situation. They are covering that. I don't understand. Even if you see this forward somehow, this is not a good place to be because there's a pressure cover. There's too many players around. It's not going to be a successful thing. So it's good to go wide at this point. Does that make sense? Like when you see the crowd, but when you see an opening, between the two players and you're, let's just say you're dribbling this way with the ball, this is a good place to pass the ball to mess up their balance. Because every ball that goes to center, that forward is receiving, they're going to be more and more compact to try to get that ball or not let him turn. Guys literally win wide, you could even see this through ball right here. But I know our outside players, usually if we give that ball, we're supposed to make a diagonal run to this way to score a goal. But our outside players, even in the pro level, unfortunately, I give these passes to them in the game right here. And our outside players are running this way. And they want to catch the ball around here somewhere. It doesn't make any sense to me. That's another issue that I have. We've been working on it. Some of you guys got it. Some of you guys struggling. But if this player turns and sees this through ball, he doesn't need to go wide. If they're giving us the center, okay, if you're a center mid or a forward, if they're ever giving us the center, always go for the center pass because that could be a one-on-one right away, an immediate goal right away. This is a long-term attack, passing it this way versus this pass to, through ball right here, diagonal run, and you're one-on-one, you score a goal. Any other questions there? Did that answer your question, whoever asked that?
They did say thank you.
Who was
That
it?
was one.
That was one.
One figure out. Ava has a question. What is the best decision to make when you have the ball and the teammate is calling for it, but you see an option elsewhere?
Okay, that's actually a very intelligent question. So what is so important about that, Ava? Great question. This is a complicated answer as well. So what happens is this player, let's just say, is asking for the ball. Okay, but you see this pass going. So now you need to make the judgment. Did you make up your mind that you're going to give this long ball right away and it's going to work for sure because this is a good ball? But when this player asking for the ball, did you actually look at them and see both options? Because the point I'm going to get to is this. If, let's just say me, and let's just say Cade and me. Cade has the ball, he's looking at Jason. Jason's making a run, okay? So they are sliding, they're all sliding, and this guy's sliding, and I'm saying to you, I'm yelling, yeah, drop. Because sometimes when somebody asks for the ball, they see something. They see something like this, an immediate goal. So your option might be good, right? So in that case, what you do is this. I see a player I'm going to pass to. Somebody's asking for the ball. If they're asking it loud and clear, they might be seeing something. So I want to give it to them. I prefer, as a player, even when I play professional soccer, I give it to the players who asks for the ball. They're demanding. I give it. Unless I look at them, they ask for the ball, I look at them, and they don't realize there's a player behind them. And I say, okay, that's not actually a good option. I'm going to go with what I have. But this happens less than a second. You need to be quickly looking around and making that decision. And quicker you get with these decisions. I mean, in one of the clinics I went to, coaches clinics, one of the coaches, D1 coaches were saying, the youth players, they start making a decision, looking at stuff, it could take them up to 20, 30 seconds. It's so slow. So more and more you make those decisions, that time is gonna go shorter and shorter. It's gonna be a muscle reflex, muscle memory to a point. So you're gonna be able to make those decisions quicker and quicker. Once you get the ball, if you're at the top level, you're already gonna know who is here, who's there, who's there, who's there. If you're at a premier soccer level, you're already gonna know who's here. Maybe kind of have an idea where this guy is, but he has no idea what's behind him. If you're at a decent college level, you are starting to check the guy behind him too, as well as the two players. If you're a top level player, you're already aware from the defender. You're already aware of this defender, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. If you're a top level forward, you're aware all the way to this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and all the defenders in between. Top level world-class player. That's where they're at. They're in a 1 second or less thinking process, while most of our players it's 5 to 10 seconds, which is really slow. So we need to get quicker with that decision making. I think the more pressure we have in practice, the harder we get for us. That's one of the reasons I push on loud, because I want to bring that game atmosphere to you guys. You panic, you play faster, and so you make those decisions in a game situation constantly in practice. Any other question? Did I actually answer Ava's though?
Ava had a follow-up question that said, I'd also try to take it somewhere, but they say leave it.
Well, Ava, it's your choice to a point, you know, like if you see something, you feel like you're confident that it's a better choice, do it. What I'm saying is if somebody is really demanding the ball, they might be seeing something, more important or more doable than you. Because I don't demand the ball personally, and we got to learn that too. Like if I am here and I know there's a player marking me, what do I say, guys?
Man on.
Nope,
Not me.
Not me.
not me. Because man is on me. I could say to another player, George, man on, like somebody's coming to you, man on. But if the guy is on me, is marking me, I'm just telling this player, not me. Don't pass it to me. I'm not open. Not me. When you say a quick word like that, and you can use different language, because if you say man on, this player might panic thinking that there's a player coming at him. So he might panic and lose the ball because he panicked and kicked the ball. So man on could be a different wrong language if I am the one that's going to be talking. This guy has the ball. But when I'm this guy and this guy has the ball about to pass to me, I say, not me. So now I just saved us from losing the ball in the center of the area. It's critical that you guys use that language. We had a whole session, by the way, guys, and the right language. It's a couple weeks ago, I think. Please find that, and you all should go through it. It's gonna help you guys. Some of you with the college expectations, it's gonna help you guys dramatically. All right. Any questions there?
Nothing else in the chat yet.
Okay. Brian, do you have any questions or comment? Do you understand this? You sometimes you
understand.
got lost in the offensive area. Do you have anything that you want to ask about that?
No, not currently.
Come on, man. These are important sessions. Like you're not gonna be able to get these answers from, some of the other, coaches around the state. I know you get confused about where to go sometimes.
I know.
See that. So you can prepare one for next week if you want, but what about, do you understand what we've been going through?
What was that?
Do you understand the the areas we covered where you're supposed to go? Do you understand those?
Yes.
Like 3 people going into that area.
Yes.
I think we have a question up there. Do you want to unmute yourself and ask a question? Is it Rashid? Is that how you say your name?
So what do you do if there's like not enough space to like pass, or if there's like too many like there's a defender blocking you and you don't have enough space to like pass or score a goal?
So you always, wherever you are, you always need to have a drop. Whoever has the ball in soccer, that's our goal. So you should always have a drop. And if you don't have a drop or the drop is marked, your choice is to start using those skills we've been working on. You're gonna try to beat the guy, okay? But only away from defense. So if you're too close to defense, your own defense, you're gonna try to hold the ball until you have a drop or you have an option. But the bottom line is, wherever you are, whoever gets the ball, let's just say this guy gets the ball, somebody should be giving him a drop right away. That's what the triangle completes. Does that make sense? So that's gonna help you understand. So if you're this guy, Rashid, and this player gets the ball, if you're waiting in here and standing and doing nothing, that's not helping your teammate. The moment you see that guy have it, and you're the closest person to him, you're gonna start going towards him and giving him a drop. Drop means, by the way, go behind the player. Go behind the player, and then the player is gonna pass to you. Does that make sense? Brian, you're usually a very intelligent guy. You asked some good questions. I wanted one from you. Jeff, do you have anything?
Sorry, still driving, Dodgy.
Okay.
Still on the road.
Maddie Smith, do you have anything?
I understand like most of it. I think a lot of the times, like our team especially, we get confused where like number 9 is supposed to be up top. I guess like if we're making a cross or if they're supposed to like make a run or something.
Yeah, so the idea is this, I'll make it very simple for you. So if the players are outside, you're in a crossing area, stop checking into the player.
Okay.
And be in the blind spot. If this is the center back, go behind the center back and expect the cross to come to here so you can just tap it in. But if the ball is all the way up here and there is no crossing opportunity and there is a through ball, stay with the vision of the passing. So a lot of our forwards, unfortunately, they're here now, away from, or they're going behind players, running away. This is a through ball. And this through ball is going to make them more compact, okay? This guy's going to come in, this guy's going to be, they're going to be more compact. So if this player can turn the ball that we work on, right, you're going to have a lot more space here. So now we open the game and this guy is dribbling. Where do you go? Blind spot. This guy's going to step in, this guy's going to step here. You're in the blind spot. Now that also allows the back post with the outside mid, defensive mid, one of them has to attack this gap. And if this is outside forward, outside mid is here, giving a drop. And D mid, other D mid is covering around here. Outside mid is attacking from here. Center backs are here. In this case, if there's a gap, you can step to that guy. And this is where your shape is gonna be.
Okay, yeah,
Simple.
that makes a lot of sense.
Okay, so just to make it simple, like if it's away in the center, you can check in the center area. So I'll draw it right here for you. In these areas, forwards can check into a point for through balls, but just to distribute it. Don't do too much with it unless you're one-on-one. And now you can do something. You can take the player on and go for goal. That's fine. But if they're compact, your job now to open the game and go back to your spot right away. So you can check in or check in And once the ball goes wide, you need to make sure you go back from here to the center area so you can be in a position you can score goals. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
I think, Brian, that should be a question you should ask.
Maddie, that I like that. That was a great question.
Let's see, I'm gonna call somebody else out random. All right, let's go with Nathan. I know you asked a question before, but because you play center back and center mid, that could be some complicated stuff there for you. So do you have anything or anything makes more sense to you in this session?
I don't think I really have any questions.
Does anything clear up for you at all?
I think
I'll give you an example. When our goalie has the ball, well, goalie makes a save, and this is our defense every single time. We just kind of have a moment of looking at the goalie's eyes, have a weird moment, awkward moment. What is this? I see this a lot happening with all our defenders, and this should not be happening. What do we say? We go wide, especially if he's looking this way, just like the center back. If he's looking that way, he needs to go wide. This guy can stay back, so defensive midfield doesn't have to step in, like inside the box. Okay, but if he's there already, he's going, and then outside mid, of course, showing up here, so we can have, and the center mid, one of the center mids is going to be showing up here, the triangle, right? It's sliding here. Forward is there. There's another player here. There's another player here. But another thing that you know what? I'm going to cover something. We've been working, guys, on a drill to make good decisions in the back and possess the ball without losing the ball so easily. So what we did with this, we did a drill this week. And this is our drill. No, two center. Okay. So the center mid gives the pass and the pressure right away. It's hard. This guy either dribbles this way backwards towards the side away from the pressure to see an opening, or he dribbles to the other side. If he chooses to dribble this side, this player needs to be sprinting. And this player needs to be covering. So that when the pass is given to this player, the center mid is running. So when these guys are pressing, we get the ball here. And if he looks that way, that opening right there, the only player close to that area is this player. So he's learning to step to that gap. Meanwhile, this two needs to come back to center to cover their spot. We've been working on that. Again, so when the ball, again, let's give an example. Ball comes to here, he's dribbling that way, means he needs to sprint, open up, not this backing up slowly stuff, because you're not going to make it on time. And of course, in the game, we're going to have an outside mid running there too, and another center mid in the area, right? But we're working on this so we can work, faster. So pass comes there, you're sliding. What if this guy is dribbling that way? You make it run wide, but the player commits to that right away, so you turn this way. Now you start dribbling this way. Of course, the defender, the offensive player is going to step to you. This time you're going wide and deep, and this guy needs to not watch it from here like you always do in practices. You need to come back to cover. Can you use the keeper? Yes. But please don't pass the keeper towards the goal. If you're going to pass the keeper, like especially if you want to open the game to that side, you're going to drop it away from the goal to the keeper here so the keeper can kick it to this player. That's a key point. Don't pass it towards the goal to the keeper. Pass it outside the post. They have a better angle. And any accident is not going to be an immediate goal if he miskicks it or misses the ball. It's going to go out the corner, worst case scenario, not a goal. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Someone in the chat said, can he make a drop?
Coaches, can you read that?
I think it came back when we were talking about Juan's. About Ava's first question. I think Ava's first question is when they made it. It was either Selena or Selena's brother. I think it was Selena.
Selena, do you want to open that question a little bit? Who are you talking about? Because yeah, I cannot watch the chat when I'm talking, sorry. So somebody needs to let me know when it comes. Is she even there? Selena, are you here? Well, this is what the teachers feel like when they don't really have it. Selena, are you there?
Just unmute yourself. Just unmute yourself. That's not a question. Mom.
Okay. All right, let's go now then. We're good. Thanks for coming, guys. I appreciate you. Somebody just said something. Let's see.
It was Selena's brother.
Okay. Wade asked that question. So just bring it up next week. We're gonna finish up now, guys. And coaches, please make sure you check that chat box so we know what moment they asked that question. So we don't lose that moment. Thank you for helping, coaches. Thank you for helping. Like I said, when you guys ask questions, it makes it much easier because I don't know what's going through your minds. I can only guess, but I don't have a good guess because my soccer mind goes in a different speed and different place because I learned this game in a different place. So I want to make sure I understand what you're saying. And when you ask a question, if that's not what you meant, sometimes there's so many situations that could happen with one question. So it's not that I didn't understand it right. It could happen different ways. So if you want to rephrase it or specifically say it like Rafa did, please do that next time. But I think these questions are great, guys. It really makes the session much better with your questions. Okay. Thank you. Have a good night. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, coach.
Thank you, guys.
See y'all.
Jeff.
See you next time.
Hey, Dodgy, why has the question real quick?
Who?
Wyatt.
Okay.
Keep typing.
No, I'll just ask it. Okay, so as a center mid, like when's a good time to start looking like to play like through balls
You didn't say it loud.
or balls over the top?
Balls over the top. Always see if we catch the. Hold on, let me share that again. You see it?
Mm-hmm.
But as I can't really necessarily look at your faces, so please say it out loud. Can you see the thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you see the defensive line so high and you see somebody making a run to the space, it's a perfect time to make this run to go in there. Like if you see space behind the defense There's never a wrong time to give a long ball. As long as you see somebody attempting to make that run. But if everybody's checking into you, like this is the dumbest thing sometimes center mids can do. Your center forward checking into you, and you're like, no, I'm gonna give a long ball to you. This guy is checking in, literally coming towards you. He's not gonna be able to turn quickly and go this way, that way.